Board of Adjustment meeting. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jenny, roll call, please.
Member Small?
Here.
Member Causey?
Here.
Member Core?
Here.
Chair Chase?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Wonderful. Before we get started today, if we can go ahead and swear anybody in that will be speaking on behalf of a case today.
Anybody who will be speaking or presenting to the board today will need to be sworn in. Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information or factual representation that you're about to give to the board is truthful? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. We'll move on to approve today's agenda. Kristen, are there any changes?
Madam Chair, there's no changes.
Wonderful. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about today's agenda? No? Motion?
Motion to accept today's agenda as presented. Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Member Core?
Yes.
Member Small?
Yes.
Chair Chase?
Yes.
Motion carries.
So the first item on today's agenda is audience comments. This would be an opportunity if you have something that you'd like to share with the board that's not on an item that's on today's agenda. Now would be the time. Otherwise, if you'd like to speak on a specific item, we'll make sure to give you time at that specific agenda component. Right, hearing none, we'll move on to approval of the minutes from last month's June meeting. Did everybody have a chance to review? Any requested edits?
None.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Core?
Yes.
Member Small?
Yes.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Chair Chase?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Right. We have 4 action items for today's meeting. The first is case number 25060. If we can review any ex parte from the board prior to the presentation. Member Small? No?
No.
None for myself? Ex
Site
parte?
review.
Site review. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Brandon.
Good afternoon, Brandon Berry, planner. Pull the presentation, please. So this is a property address at 4107 Miller Drive. This is an unnecessary and undue hardship variance. Micah Thompson for Marilyn Orbach Rosenberg requests demolition of an existing dock. It's 10 feet in width, 25.5 feet in length at its longest point, to construct a new 6-foot by 20-foot long dock, which exceeds the maximum length allowed, with 20 feet proposed along one side of the dock, as I'll show, where 19.5 feet is permitted, and a proposed southeastern riparian line setback, which is an extended property line setback into the water, of 0.6 feet, where 9 3/4 feet is required. This request is made pursuant to Land Development Code Section 6.23D, 3 and 4. We have noticed this case. We have not received any letters for or against it. You can see the subject property here. It's on the east side of Miller Drive. It's located in the RU1 district. Residential docks are permitted accessory structures in this zoning. It is on the east side of the Bella Vista neighborhood. So as I mentioned before, the applicant's requesting a variance to the city's dock standards in the Land Development Code. These are some of the only standards in the city's code that can be varied administratively. It does require the encroached upon neighbor to sign off on the request. In this case, the neighbor to the north side has signed off. The neighbor to the southeast side has not, because this is both a length variance and because the encroachment is into the southeastern neighborhood, southeastern neighbor's waterfront. They would also need to provide a sign off for this to be administratively approvable. They have not provided that. So as I mentioned before, I went through the standards. The north side will now be compliant with the required setback of 9.75 feet. 13.5 feet is proposed, as I'll show in a moment. Dock is essentially swiveling off to the southeastern waterfront. There is a 0.6 foot setback proposed on the southeastern side, where 9.75 feet is required. That's at the closest point. The dock is also half a foot longer than the code allows for at 20 feet compared to a 19.5 foot permittable length, and that is along one side. So you can see here a survey showing the existing conditions as well as the current dock. It is still in place. It is heavily damaged by the storm, as I'll show in a moment. This is showing the request. So as you can see, compared with the aerial at the bottom right of the screen, the dock is essentially moved over. It is getting shorter. It is getting narrower in width, but it is still in that riparian setback on the southeastern side, and it is also along the northern side facing the neighbor that it's now being relocated away from. It is half a foot longer than the code would allow based on the waterfront seawall width. And so you can see here a approximate comparison of the new dock in blue compared with the existing dock in orange. So this is the just a photo of the dock in its current state. Here's some general photographs of the property, the sign posting, again, the front of the property, showing the backyard. Another shot toward the dock, looking toward the neighbor whose property it's being moved further away from. Here is the back of the property. There is an active permit for renovation based on storm damage. They do have an active permit. This is showing the seawall. There is obviously a difference in both the extension and the slightly based on the height of the seawall. I do not believe the current seawall meets the city's current standard, which is okay. It can remain in place. Staff did notice some mild erosion behind the seawall, which I'll comment on in a moment. This is looking toward the neighbor's property in which the dock will be oriented should this request be approved. And this is showing the seawall of the subject property. Staff had a few comments. There were a few items that we did ask the applicant or their agent to provide comments on. The first was simply whether they considered rebuilding the existing dock, which they would be permitted to do so, regardless of the conformity of the dock with the city's current regulations. As long as a permit was issued at some point in time for that property, they are permitted to rebuild the dock in its existing configuration until the end of time. Whether they looked at that and adding a lift on the south side. That lift would likely still encroach. It would likely still require sign off, but just questioning whether that was considered, whether this dock will present any difficulty to access based on its orientation. If there are any plans to replace the seawalls, I showed you in that prior photo, if it does extend further out of the water, this would put the dock further into the water than it's proposed based on the existing seawall location, and also whether they would be modifying height to meet the 5-foot NAVD 88 standard. Any reoccupancy plans for the residents, whether they plan to reconstruct this dock should these variances be approved in tandem with the renovation of the residence, or if they have plans to submit for the dock afterward. There is a 1-year limitation on these requests if they are approved. And from the application, from the narrative, there was discussion of potentially adding a boat lift on the north side of the dock that's being proposed for variance. It was not reflected. I don't know if they've spoken with the neighbor to the north. There's a high likelihood that they would need a sign off from that northern neighbor given the setback that's required. We tend to bring these up just because we bring these cases to you based on the variances presented, but if that discussion hasn't happened, if the neighbor is adverse to that, it may show up again before this board, and we just wanted to put that out there if it might be an issue in the future. One variance does typically not justify the issuance of a subsequent variance, and we just wanted the owner or the agent to acknowledge that. So with that said, staff is not proposing any conditions for this one should it be approved. As I mentioned before, it is a narrower dock. It does not extend further. We just want to get that testimony from the applicant. If the board finds that there are conditions that should be applied to mitigate the impact of this request, those can be proposed. If you find that the applicant has not met their burden of support for this request, you could deny this case, or if you feel that there's additional information that's necessary, you could, of course, move this to a subsequent meeting. That's all I have. I believe the agent for the request is present. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Brendan?
So the existing dock goes into the setback zone in the water.
It does
As
along
it
the,
does already, a small amount, right?
correct, well, it's into the northern neighbor.
The red is the
waterfront.
north,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's already in the neighbor's setback area, or, yeah.
correct, and the proposed dock would be in the other neighbor setback area, would be outside of the neighbor whose dock the current dock is within. It's being moved out of their setback. It'll now be in the southeastern neighbor's setback.
It'll be in the blue setback on the color code, right?
Correct. Yes, let me get back to.
Proposed.
Yeah, so that is the actual dimension of the dock that's proposed, but that will be within the riparian setback of the right neighbors looking out at the water, that's south.
I'm not seeing that on page 21. Could you look at that really quick? I don't understand it.
Sorry, Kristen, do you have the whole packet, page 21?
Page 21 of the application, or which one?
Of the,
Agenda packet.
Oh, I got to download the whole agenda packet, hold on. I have them separated.
You're looking at a different visual than what's on the screen right now.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
PDF, page 21.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is the staff report, 3A. If you go to the staff report,
Yeah,
under the criteria 3A.
it's contradicting. I agree with you.
Is that supposed to be that?
So it's like
Yeah.
flipped.
Is the blue the existing?
Oh, that's a different diagram. Yeah,
Yeah.
see the, do you have, under 3A of your staff report? There's a diagram, and it's the same colors, but it's showing something else.
Yeah.
It's showing the actual setback areas, I believe.
Oh, yes. So those are the actual riparian setbacks extended into the water, and I'll go to the previous graphic. I don't.
And that's what I'm asking about.
Yeah, so because this property, because of the way the riparian lines extend into the water, they converge at a point where even though it's within the length allowed, it's not buildable past a certain point because they do converge as the lines extend out into the water. So what's on the southeast side, so the neighbor whose property this would be encroaching into, that .6 is within that setback there. That's what that's showing. It's just showing it within that 9.75 foot side setback.
So,
Can you show that on the screen? Is there a way? Do you have the staff report?
The red is the southeast.
I don't have it on that
And
one.
this red is the southeast on this picture, on page 21.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we can put it on the projector, hold on.
Is that the neighbor that signed off?
No.
Yeah, and I
It
just
is
want to be
confusing
clear
'cause
on
that
which
diagram is
letter-
showing something
which
different.
neighbor signed off on
The
this
blue.
diagram. The blue is signed off? So they're not really in their setback zone. though.
Correct.
So,
No, they signed off effectively for the half-foot extension. When
Okay.
it goes beyond the setback, both need to sign off. They've provided that sign-off for that length extension.
okay.
Mhm.
Do we know whether the neighbor to the south received the request because it's an LLC from out of state?
The applicant can speak to this. In their narrative, they did state that they attempted to get a hold of them and they just didn't receive a response. It wasn't a refusal, at least at that point in time.
So just to clarify, that was actually part of the application package, not the staff report, that was submitted by the applicant. Just wanted,
We could pull up the document camera.
Oh, you're correct, yep.
Yeah, so this orange color, this is the riparian setback for the neighbor whose setback that this dock will be encroaching into. The blue does show that the new dock will be outside the northern neighbor who signed off. It will be half a foot longer than it's permitted to be, but the entire encroachment is within the southeastern neighbor's waterfront. It doesn't cross the boundary, but it is about a half a foot from that line.
Thank you for clarifying, Brandon. Any other questions for Brandon?
Before you leave that slide, if they were going to comply with all the setbacks, they would only be in the little white triangle.
Correct, and we commented on this in the staff report. Despite the fact that based on their waterfront, they're allowed a dock of 19.5 feet under the code requirement, they actually could not build a dock that long because it would be in one of the neighbors' waterfront. They would need a sign off just to build a dock under the code provision. So they did receive the northern neighbor's signature, not the south neighbor's signature.
Unless they replace the dock as is.
Correct, they could rebuild exactly what they have, yes.
Thank you, Brendan. Would the applicant like to come forward?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Micah Thompson, owner of Gulf and Bay Dock Works. We're located at 1510 51st Street South in Gulfport, Florida. I'm a resident of Madeira Beach. So the main request, number one, a boat went under this dock during the storms and it tore it up. These pie-shaped lots that we have in lots of our canals in the corners, there's really no way to rebuild a dock without crossing over something. This dock that's proposed is about half the size of the current dock. With the intent of and the goal, it's a long-term be able to put a small boat lift, a 10,000-pound boat lift on the dock. I do have a drawing that would put that in, and it shows that that's about as big as you can have. And they realize, the client realizes that that would require variance too, but right now they can't have a boat lift at all with the current dock. And they can't afford the boat lift and repair the house at the same time, but since they have to rebuild their dock, they would like to be able to do it where someday they could have a boat lift. Again, this dock is half the size. The neighbor that hasn't signed off has not objected. We have just sent emails and mails and mailers, and we have not been able to get a hold of this client. Neither can the owner of this property. So we've designed something where we think a boat could pull out without crossing into the boat traffic of either neighbor. The neighbor we have been able to get a hold of is fine with it. 19.5 would be fine. This is just so tight already with trying to get a boat lift. We wanted to see if we could go for 20. So would anybody like to see the drawing with the boat lift?
Yes, because which side is the boat lift going to be on?
It would be on the left side.
Okay.
And has that been communicated to the neighbor on the north, that that's the ultimate intent? Okay.
Can I approach?
You can put
I'll
it on
the
the,
slide.
We can see it
How
there.
do we do it? I'm sorry.
it's okay. Yep.
So that's a very small boat lift, just showing how small this would be. The neighbor with the boat already would have plenty of room to get their boat out. And again, this isn't being asked for at this time. They just want a dock that they could kayak off of for now, enjoy a sunrise, and potentially down the road, at least have space with a variance if they had neighbor signatures to put a boat lift in. They built their dock, you can see it's superimposed on the current dock. The current dock takes up the entire square footage, leaving absolutely no room for any lift in the future.
So that's the reason behind not just rebuilding the current.
Correct. They would never be able
Okay.
to put a boat lift in.
Okay. Any additional questions for the applicant?
No.
Thanks. If we have anything else, we'll call you back up, but we're good for now.
Thank you.
Mhm. We'll now open it up for audience comments. If there's anybody here that would like to speak on behalf or against this application, we'd love to hear from you. Hearing none, we'll close the open discussion and converse as a
Can I
board.
ask Brandon again? We have three choices: approve, deny. What was the third one?
Continue for
Continue?
additional information.
Yeah.
You can also approve with conditions if you have a condition you'd like to add.
So these are always tough when we don't have both neighbors signed off. Like, that's the
problem,
easiest
yeah.
thing.
And that's what makes me lean toward continuing, because the other person eventually, I guess, will come back to the house, and you'd hate to find out that they've done something that's going to prevent that person from doing.
I think I heard the council say it's in an LLC. Is that correct?
Let me look it up here.
There are so many homes on the beach that are owned, and it's nearly impossible to get, in touch because they're vacant, and so it seems like the applicant has legitimately
Let's have the
tried.
applicant come up again, and if you could tell us the addresses you've sent the letter request application to.
Actually, staff does complete the notice of hearing and the posting of the signs. So that would have been not on the applicant to do, that would be staff.
Oh, for,
No, but they're asking about,
Oh,
did they
okay.
send it to the southern neighbor? What address
I
did they
gotcha.
use for the southern neighbor?
It was I can look it up on my phone. It was the neighbor to the north and the south, so on the right and left.
right,
One of them's approved it, or did
The
not.
south neighbor, correct?
Correct.
what we're trying to validate is just that the intent of really attempting to get
And
in
if we
touch with
found,
that neighbor.
if you have a name, if we found a name, it's in an LLC, and we have no idea, we've tried for 6 months, and we don't know how to get a hold of anybody.
The letter of no objection is from the northern neighbor,
Correct.
so they don't have one from the southern neighbor.
Which is the side the boat lift would go on, is that correct?
That's the side that they're now going to be encroaching on. The boat lift would go on the north, but
Okay.
4107 Miller Drive was the signature we were not able to obtain. Oh, I'm sorry, this is this neighbor. But it's the neighbor to the right. The right lot owner facing the water.
And what was the address and name of that owner?
I do not have that in front of me.
4105, I guess.
I have,
That property
I have
actually,
the Ty Jacob Leaf at the 334 Second Ave South that is an owner of the neighboring property.
is this something that the city could assist the applicant with in trying to figure out how to, other means of contacting that neighbor? Or,
yeah, that actual property that we're referring to has a site address of 396 41st Avenue. So that's where they're, that would be that one.
And the mailing address is in Coral Gables?
Correct.
and it,
And who's the property owner? NXT Acquisitions Corp.
That is correct.
And we have mailed that address.
you have,
We have.
okay.
And we have collaborated with the city to try to ask if they have anything further.
Okay.
We haven't found anything as of yet.
Did we see if it had been, did the owner of the property sell it to these people recently? I know I was approached, like many people were,
This property was purchased in the new year.
post-storm.
Storm.
So
Okay.
this is one of these companies coming in to try to flip it and all that.
Yeah.
I'm less sympathetic to them.
Well, I mean, that's a factor to consider, right? It's not somebody that's living here currently now, and the new, whoever were to purchase this property would be purchasing with knowing where the current, or where the new dock was built.
Except that the people who just purchased it in January purchased it knowing where the old dock was and the amount of water excess they had.
Correct. So legally, where does that, like, as long as we've provided the proper notification, we've attempted, and is there any concern?
Yeah, staff can come up. I think Brandon showed the pictures where we posted the property and we did the mailing
Yeah.
notice.
So that covers the
So we're-
basis
we're
for,
legal. Mhm.
Yeah.
And again, we did,
You don't have to have
we're not
neighbors
asking
come
for a
out for
boat
variances.
lift now.
Yep.
That would have to come before you again.
Is the property itself, did the, it looks substantially damaged to me. Are they going to have to tear it down or lift it or something?
They're trying, I'm not sure of the details. I know they're trying to remodel it as it is.
Well,
but that, I mean, it's a fair question, but it's not really relevant.
I mean, I
Anyways,
understand. I'm a resident of Madeira Beach on the water, and I've got neighbors that are being torn down, but in the future, I want my neighbors to be able to have a safe dock where they can access the water.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I'm just looking at that property. They do have some building permit applications that are currently in for under review, and I do have an email address associated with the corporation that owns it.
For the south,
Correct.
has that been attempted in terms of trying to?
As far as I know, we've attempted several things, everything that the city gave us, but if you give me that now, I can.
Yeah, this was a recent submittal. I don't know how far back, but I can definitely give that to you.
I think where we're coming from is if we had both neighbors signed off on this, it would be, we wouldn't be, have a question.
I understand.
And so we're just trying to do right by, everybody in the city. And if we could see that additional attempt to just make sure that we've really exhausted all opportunity to
If we
contact them.
can't get a hold of them, just knowing that the dock is literally half the size of the current dock and is not putting a lift on there.
Yeah.
It's I believe, 120 square feet versus 256 that are out there. So it's a much smaller variance that if a neighbor came in, they would say, oh, there's a smaller dock that's half the size next to me.
I think the only concern is that it's that much closer and encroaching on their, waterfront views.
Yeah, and the current dock as it is just about as approaching as we looked on the.
Yeah, you showed the page where it showed
Pretty
Old
much
Dock
sitting on
is
top of
white,
each other.
and it already encroaches about the same amount into that space. So I would say continue it until we at least try and make sure that we did everything we have contact-wise. But in this case, it is the same amount of encroachment as there currently exists. So I'm not sure, I don't think practically it's going to make a difference, but legally it might be that we need to contact the people that we have on file, right?
I think
Legally, we don't have to.
Legally,
You
we're
can-
fine.
Yeah, legally, you're fine to vote today.
Brandon, can you, thank you, sir. If we have any other questions, can you confirm that's the case, that the current encroachment is no more than?
So
That was-
staff had estimated based on the survey, and I believe the encroachment from the extended line is currently about 5 feet from the neighbor whose waterfront this will be encroaching toward. It's proposed to be 0.6 feet, but that's only at that one point. It obviously narrows off from there. But I believe the dock, if you extend the line out, and I'll show on the survey here, on the aerial, or on the overhead, if you extend that southeastern property line out, that current dock is approximately 5 feet at the closest point. So it's still within the waterfront setback, but the new dock would be a little bit closer.
But not like substantial. I think that's a good point that you've raised. Okay, thank you.
Can I ask the other gentleman, can you come back again? I just have a quick question for you. How much of a hardship would it be if we continued this until we made another attempt to try to reach the owner of the other property?
They would like to have the biggest thing right now is the dock that's there is on the old concrete square pilings that are falling apart, and it's a danger right now in its current state. They like to have us not pay an extra fee to demo it and then wait a while before they approved something new. And they would like to have just a small basic dock there for now, so. And this, if you don't mind, this drawing did show, you can look past the lift. That's basically showing the new dock. Very different place on the map, but both docks are encroaching for all useful purposes of boating, just about the same amount.
Okay. Thank you.
But now, I thought you had told us that they didn't have a plan to start the new dock right away.
No, the lift, the
Okay,
boat lift.
so the dock
boat
now,
lift is not in this
eventually.
configuration,
Okay.
but the design premise was because of something they would want to do in the future. Again, that would need approval by you as well at that point. So they didn't want to rebuild the dock and take that consideration completely off the table.
Understood.
Is the property that we can't reach the owner of, is that the one that we're seeing here that has a dock that comes out?
Yes.
Was that dock not destroyed?
No.
It wasn't. Odd.
It was
Just-
damaged, but it's still up. It's still
It's
standing.
just looking at the angle, whether that's going to make any difference for,
We looked at the angle and we positioned this a lot. We changed it 5 degrees this way, 5 degrees that. But the maximum size boat, even on a 6 or 10,000 pound lift that you would have, would be just to fit in the lot would be approximately 20 feet. So it's going to be a very small bay boat at the most, and that we didn't find any trouble having backing up or getting in the way of the other boat or pulling into their lift. If that made sense.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know what
All
happened.
right. Handful of factors, but I think here we have a resident that's trying to rebuild their home. They've legitimately attempted to contact both sides, and legally we've done the noticing that we need to do. Ideally, we would have heard from them, but we haven't heard a letter of objection. So I would be in favor of supporting the variance.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's, if someone, we proposed, someone asked the question, well, what about the people if they sell it and they buy it? Well, the new owner will know what they're buying, so I don't see where it has a big effect.
Any other questions or thoughts?
I don't, no.
No? Would you like to make a motion?
I propose the board approve case 25060 as proposed with no conditions.
I'll second. Roll call.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Member Core?
Yes.
Member Small?
Yes.
Chair Chase?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to the second case of today. I believe that's 25089. Before we're hearing Brandon's presentation, any ex parte to?
No.
No.
No?
I'm trying to catch up with which one we're doing.
This is the one on Brazen Avenue.
Page 40.
Page 40, thank you.
Okay, so this is case number 25089 for 3214 West of Basin Avenue. Kristen Hansen of George F. Young Incorporated for Jeffrey, John, and Scott Trell request to split a zoning lot to create 2 lots, each capable of supporting 1 single-family residence, with both created lots averaging 59.91 feet in width, where 60 feet is required. This is a request made pursuant to Land Development Code Section 9.6A2. We have noticed for this case, we have not received any letters for or against. You can see here an aerial of the property. It's along West Basin Avenue. It comprises 2 full lots of the platted Don Cesar subdivision, as well as a portion of Lot 13, Block 23. It has an RU2 zoning, that is a residential detached single-family zoning district. That is what the applicant is proposing for each of the lots that would be created if this request is approved. You can see a survey here showing the existing improvement, which is a 1-story residence. It was built in the first half of the 20th century. There is also a detached garage at the back of the property. The entire, all of the development on the lot would be demolished should this request be approved prior to the lot split. You can see here the proposed lot layout. Lots in this neighborhood are required to be 6,000 square feet in area and 60 feet in width. When lots have different measurements at the front and the rear, the width is determined by averaging the front and the rear. The lot as proposed to be split is, each of them would be identical in width and area. They do greatly exceed the required width for the zoning district. They have about 7,600 square feet. Again, 6,000 square feet is required. However, due to the averaging, due to the variation in the front yard, which is currently about 129 feet, and the backyard, which is around 110, they average out to just under the 60 feet required. They're at 59.91, so they're about an inch off from where they would need to be. And this is summarized through this table. They meet the area that is a comprehensive plan requirement. The lot split would not be able to proceed without the area being met. The width is just under the requirement. Here's some photographs of the site showing the sign posting, showing the home as it exists today, the garage in the rear of the property, then the backyard, and some shots of the property, as well as an interesting, I think that's a interesting structure up there at the top of the slide. So the applicant should be prepared to provide their own testimony and respond to staff comments below. We do just want to acknowledge an acknowledgement that the lot does need to be demolished. The structures do need to be taken down prior to the city approving the separation of the lots through the property appraiser should this request be approved. Any future variances that may be requested based upon the lots as created these lots would actually be much more in line with the area and the width of other lots in the neighborhood. Staff, based on the review that we've currently undertaken, we don't find any basis for any kind of future variances to setbacks, lot coverage, or so on that would be necessitated by the creation of these variances. We would just like that to be acknowledged by the applicant. And we do have an administrative lot split request process that the applicant would need to go through. They would not be able to immediately move on to the lot split through the property appraiser's office. And in addition to the demolition request, we don't foresee any issues with that, but that is something they would need to undertake. So based on that, staff does not really find the need for any additional testimony. The request is extremely minimal. It's 1 inch relative to a 60-foot standard, so far less than 1%. The existing land is very peculiar for the zoning district. It is one of the largest lots in the neighborhood. The other lot of a similar size is actually used for multifamily along the western side of the Bayway. The combination of land that created the subject parcel occurred prior to municipal standards requiring lots be of a certain width and area. So that those who developed the property, those who combined this property, would not have known that this standard would be in place in the future. And the lots that are created are unlikely to produce development that is significantly out of scale or character without allowed on adjacent lots based on the current adopted zoning standards. Those lots, as created, would still be larger than some of those in the vicinity, but they would be more in keeping with the area that could be, or with the lot size that could be developed on in the vicinity. So based on that, staff is not proposing any conditions. The 3 options as laid out would be a motion to approve this case with or without conditions if found necessary. That would carry the lot split requirement, which would be an inherent condition of this approval. If you find that the application is not thoroughly supported, you could motion to deny this case, or if you need additional information, continue it to a future Board of Adjustment hearing. That's all I have. If you have any questions for me, and I know the applicant is present.
They're basically going to be empty lots.
Yes, correct.
So we're starting over again to build to code. It'll be up high and all that, right?
Correct, yes.
Anything else for Brandon? Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
The applicant would like to come forward? Thank you. If you could please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Chris Hansen with George F. Young, Inc., 299 MLK Drive, or MLK Street, North St. Pete.
Thanks.
Pretty much everything he said is correct. I concur with everything. The 3 things that we were requested to give testimony on. The first, acknowledging all structures of the property to be demolished before staff provides approval for this lot separation, should this variance be granted. Yes, owner knows this. Staff does not find, basically, future variances, just as Brennan said, we know of nothing that should or would be needed in the future.
Okay.
Obviously, that's currently. And applicant or owner remains responsible for submitting lot split request application through the city, which may carry additional administrative requirements. And that's given, yes, we acknowledge that.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like to share? This is obviously a very administrative.
This is pretty administrative and straightforward. We don't see anything that would affect any of the neighbors negatively. It's not adjusting property lines on either side to any existing neighbors. It's literally a total of, what, 1.09 inches,
Yeah.
which nobody really notices. So I don't really think we have any other concerns. Our client just would like to tear down the home, downsize due to his place in life, and replace the home in the place he grew up in since he was a child.
Great.
So,
Any questions for
fairly
the,
straightforward.
any questions for the applicant from the board?
No.
None.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If there's anybody else here today that would like to speak on behalf or against this applicant, this would be the time. Hearing none, we'll close and open for board discussion. I think this is kind of curious in the future, like if things are so under, like less than 1%, is there a reason it can't be administratively approved, or
We don't.
if there's just
It
nothing?
does
in
not
that?
meet the requirements, correct?
Okay.
So This is that
Do we
avenue.
have a motion?
Oh,
I suggest the board approve case 25089 as proposed.
I second that.
Member Small?
Yes.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Member Core?
Yes.
Chair Chase?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, case,
Sometimes they're easy.
moving on to case number 3 for today, number 25085, 565 Bell Point Drive. Any ex parte to,
No,
Elise?
no, none to disclose.
just to drive by?
Drive by.
Ex parte? No. Kristen?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Kristen Coleman, Senior Planner. May I have the overhead, please? Okay, before us this afternoon, case number 25087, located at 565 Bell Point Drive. James Kearney is requesting a practical difficulty variance to construct a 22-foot 10-inch by 15-foot addition for the expansion of an existing attached garage with the proposed front yard setback of 13.5 feet where 20 feet is required, so looking for relief from Land Development Code Section 8.7A1. The property is outlined in red. It is an interior lot and surrounded by single-family uses to the north, south, east, and west. The property is located in the RU1 single-family zoning district. The applicant is proposing to convert a portion of the existing attached garage into an additional bedroom with ensuite bathroom and laundry room with access from the existing kitchen. And in addition to losing that square footage to the conversion, he's looking to construct a 22-foot 10-inch by the 15-foot addition for the garage with the front yard setback of 13.5 feet where 20 feet is required. Here is a current survey of the property showing the existing conditions. And here is the portion of the survey showing the proposed addition and renovations that's outlined in red. And just a proposed floor plan as we
Could you
get
go back
into
one
it.
more, Kristen? To
Absolutely.
the red is what's proposed?
Yes, so he has a portion of that. If I go back one more, you can see where to the left of the screen where the garage is, where it would go, the driveway going into the garage. He's going to convert a portion of that rear, left rear part of the dwelling that's part of the garage now and into another bedroom, laundry room, and bathroom. So he's shrinking the size of the garage to add in that square footage, and then he would like to do a garage extension to get back some of that square footage that he's doing the conversion to.
Is the house damaged?
It did not receive substantial damage. You can also see in the past, recently, he has put in a in-ground pool and paver patio to the rear. And here's a little bit showing the proposed floor plan. Okay, just bringing you onto the property. The sign was posted on the property on July 23rd, and noticing was completed as required. Here is the front of the dwelling. And I just wanted to give you a couple shots looking at how far the existing garage kind of sticks out from the front facade of the dwelling. Also noting the cool, like, aesthetic architecture of it that's outlined in front of the garage. Just another angle from Bell Point Drive on the side. And just looking to the rear to the recent improvements. So in reviewing the application, we did include in the staff findings report, we would like some additional testimony from the applicant, including to provide an overview of the proposed renovations as a whole, if there is any additional improvements other than what is shown on the elevations provided as part of the submittal, that are proposed to be made to the exterior of the dwelling that will complement the current architectural style of the building. So the elevations that we received as part of the proposed plan submittal was just very basic, bare bones, and I just wanted to see if they were going to continue the stylistic features on that addition. The front entry is to be maintained with the proposal, and staff has some concern that the expansion may cause conflicts with the circular portion of the newly installed paver driveway. And does he anticipate any challenges in being able to maneuver a car in a circular driveway, being that he's extending out further towards the roadway? And the applicant should provide testimony regarding any potential alternatives if the variance should not be approved.
There were no letters received for?
No letters received, correct. So with that, we have the motion options to approve case number 2507 with the staff recommended condition of submitting a sealed as-built survey, noting all dimensions, setbacks, and ISR calculation approved by zoning prior to the issuance of the final inspection or CO. So we can make sure if should you approve this setback that they actually met the setback requirements that you're approving. You can approve it as proposed or deny or continue. And the applicant, Mr. Kearney, is here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have as well.
Thank you, Kristen.
Sure.
Any questions for Kristen prior to hearing from the applicant?
When I looked over the area, it didn't seem like any other houses were encroaching into that setback zone on that street. So could you speak to the purpose of that amount of setback that's currently prevalent on the street? I think it was 20-something feet.
20 feet, and I apologize, this is a little blurry. It was looked at in the surrounding areas that most of the garages there are front entry. There may have been one that was side entry. As you look across the way, again, it's not really to scale, but I think in this case, it appears deeper because he has a significant amount of right-of-way from the street to the property line. Where across the street, when you look at this, it looks a little shorter from the property line to the dwelling. And I didn't have surveys for everything. I kind of pulled a handful and just actually surveying as driving through to see what others had.
And he's currently surpassing the required setback at 27, right? And so
Correct.
the net is substantial versus
Yeah.
the current state. Okay.
Yeah, currently he is 26.68 and on both sides, correct.
Okay. Anything additional for Kristen?
Does Mr. Kearney want to
Would-
speak?
Yeah, would the applicant like to come forward? Okay, you could just state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, hello. My name is James Carney, and I'm interested in adding an addition and moving the garage out to accommodate for an additional bedroom and a bathroom that would be accessible from my pool area. I've done quite a bit of construction on the property already, and I'd like to continue. And I would keep it in the style that it is. I'd go with a stucco finish. And I did measure and make a point of addressing the, let's see here. Do I have to turn that on?
There we go.
This dimension, where she said may interfere, it's 11 foot 6 inches for the circular driveway, so a car could still go past there without an issue after the addition is put in. And I went over all the dimensions with that. Currently, the laundry is in the garage, and there is a bathroom in there, but it's not in great shape. If I was to be denied, I'd have to not do the bedroom. but family's growing, and I'd like to have the space. That's about it.
Had you considered a second-story addition as opposed to staying on the initial story in order to stick within the variances?
I
code?
floated everything. I thought about lifting the house. I thought about a second story. I just got a knee replacement, so stairs are not my friend right now. So I was kind of like, why do I want a second floor? I don't want the stairs. But no, this is what I chose to go for. So, but I would go out the back, but being a pie-shaped property in the backyard, I don't have the room in the back. So this is the direction I chose.
Are you living in the house now?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my wife and I got a grandkid on the way, so we can make some room.
How many bedrooms are there now total?
2. It's a 2-2 right now. Or 2 and a half.
Any additional questions for the
I
applicant?
have no questions for this man.
All right, we'll discuss as a board and get back to you if we have any questions. If there's anybody else here today that would like to speak on behalf or against this application, now would be the time. Otherwise, we'll close open public comment and discuss as a board. What are your thoughts, guys?
And wanted to pick that, the recommendation on the condition, number 1, when you said we can approve it with your condition, what was that?
Just to make sure that when they have their final plans, that they actually obey with the setbacks that were.
It's just making sure what you approved of the setback is actually what was constructed.
Okay.
The applicant shall submit a sealed as-built survey noting all dimensions, setbacks, ISR calculation, and approved by zoning prior to issuance of a final inspection or certificate of occupancy.
Okay, very good.
I mean, I feel like, whereas the prior case was hardly any percentage, this is a significant ask in encroaching in the front yard where, similarly, as I drove by, I didn't see that being necessarily harmonious with the neighborhood. I appreciate him wanting to expand the house, and obviously staying on one story is a lot easier, more financially less burdensome than going up. But I think it's a significant encroachment in the
It's a lot
front
of
yard.
variance, yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same way. If all the other houses were closer to the street, then I wouldn't have any problem at all with it. But I feel like everyone in the neighborhood should be able to build to the same ask.
Right. And I think the 2-2s are pretty common in that neighborhood for the times, or the original structures.
Well, he could still convert the garage
Yeah.
into a bedroom.
Do we have a motion?
Does anyone want to make a motion? Me? I make a motion, the board approve case 25087 with the condition as proposed by staff.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Well, with the condition being,
The as-built survey
The as-built survey
before they get a final
before they get the final, yes.
sign-off and CO.
to go back to your point, would the applicant, would you mind coming forward again? Did you give consideration to turning the garage into another bedroom?
Oh, I don't understand. That is what I'm doing. A portion of the garage is going to be taken for square footage for the bedroom. And
No, I mean,
was gonna bump-
the
bump
current
it.
garage now, could that be converted into a bedroom?
He's using some of the current square footage for the bedroom, bath, laundry
I
addition,
know.
and then extending the garage, so he maintains the same garage space.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't understand the question. I'm using the space, part of it for the bedroom and part of it for the garage.
Currently, you have a garage.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be turned into a bedroom?
I want the garage. Is that what you're asking? Because
Yeah.
I was in a condo and I was pulling my hair out because I do a lot of work. You know, I need a place for my tools, although my wife doesn't care. She has her closets for her clothes, you know. But I just wanted the garage for my tools and, you know, what I do. And to store a car. If I was to ask, am I going to turn it into a bedroom and lose the garage? No, I would take the garage over the bedroom, if that's what you're asking.
Would there be a scenario where you could still potentially add the bathroom and the laundry, but not the bedroom, and then not have to require the setback? So maybe rethink, you know, the extent of the renovation that you were doing in order to give yourself some space?
I don't want a garage that I can just put a golf cart in, you know? I wanted a full-size garage. And the bathroom, you know, is there. It's just in bad shape. I need to redo it. And the laundry's there also. I wouldn't be moving the door from the house into that area. I would be eliminating a door into the garage, though. It would only be accessible from the outside.
So the net new footprint is really just for the bedroom, as opposed, and the others are being renovated from the laundry bath perspective?
Yeah, pretty much the laundry and bathroom is where it is right now. You know, that space. I just would like to get a bedroom that's a little bit larger than the ones that are in there, because, you know, you put a king-size bed in that bedroom and you can go with one night table, you know. So I wanted a room a little bit larger for a master.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, you know.
I mean, our concern is, you know, not being harmonious with the neighbors. I'm curious, did you speak? We obviously didn't get any letters. Have you talked to any of your neighbors about the project?
The neighbors are fine. Jen next door hasn't been around because she had a fire in her house. So I haven't seen her, but across the street, they're fine. No, there's no problems at all. Everybody actually is complimenting me on the work that I have done on the house to this point.
And it looks great, so.
I'm getting there. I'd like to do the landscaping, but I have too many question marks, and I don't want to redo it. I just lost a lot of landscaping in that hurricane, so I hate throwing it away, so I'd rather do it right once. So rocks are becoming more popular.
Any additional questions for the applicant? Thank you, sir. I think it's always a challenge. Like, we want to support neighbors improving their properties, but we also have, you know, the codes for a reason. And I think there's other ways he could add a bedroom to his house. So as I'm thinking about the, you know, the hardship, like, there are other opportunities to get that additional bedroom.
Yeah.
We do have a motion on the floor.
Thank you.
We don't have a second yet.
So we have a motion to approve with the conditions standing. I'll second.
Member Causey?
No.
Member Core?
No.
Member Small?
Yes.
Chair Chase?
No.
Motion fails 3-1.
Can we get a motion to deny, just to be clear for the record?
Sure. Motion to deny case number 25087 based off the testimony heard today.
Second.
Member Core?
Yes.
Member Small?
No.
Chair Chase, Member Causey?
Yes.
Chair Chase?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. The fourth and final case for today is case number 25084, 3314 East Maritana Drive. Prior to hearing from Kristen, any ex parte to disclose?
No.
No.
Just to drive by for myself.
No.
May I have the overhead, please? Okay, our last case of the day is 25084, located at 3314 East Maritana Drive. This one is an unnecessary undue hardship variance, so Joshua Trosclair for Charlotte and Alan Schmidt request to retain the existing residential storage building of 99 square feet that exceeds the maximum of 80 square feet permitted, which is relief from Land Development Code Section 6.13B5. Okay, here is an aerial of the property outlined in red. It is an interior parcel with single-family residential to the south and east, a residential duplex to the west, and Pinellas Bayway to the north. It is located within the RU2 zoning district, single-family. And here is a current survey of the property. It's a one-story dwelling with attached carport and concrete ribbon driveway. It does contain a rear deck with in-ground pool and patio, and of course, the residential storage building. Here's a large portion of that survey, so highlighted in red with the circle, that's where the storage building is located, and also just a visual picture for you of what is currently on the property. Again, they're requesting to retain the existing storage building, which does exceed the 99 square feet, of 99 square feet where 80 square feet is permitted. So a little background on this one and the current permits that are open, just to provide an overall status. As part of our weather events of last year, they are looking to elevate the structure. And as part of that application...
Elevate the house?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's, you'll see the elevation there. And as part of the review, zoning does look at all the structures that are on the property. And with that, if there is any non-conforming structures, they either have to be removed or, of course, apply for a variance. And that's part of Land Development Code Section 3.10E. So bringing you on to the property, signs were posted on July 23rd, and all noticing was completed as required. And here is a kind of a front picture from the property. Again, it is located on the Bayway access, so they do have quite a large right-of-way before the property line begins, so I'm kind of in that midpoint, but so everybody could still see the sign. Bringing you back on the eastern side, and that at carport, that is also going to be part of the elevation as well. And just going into the side yard, where the structure is currently located. Just another angle as you come around with the in-ground pool in the backyard. They are going to be creating a new elevated rear deck as part of the elevation. Okay, looking east. And from the corner, just looking to the north, west, northwest. Just another picture. So we did ask, as part of the staff findings report, that the applicant should provide testimony as to the materials to be stored or on or within the building. The applicant should provide testimony as to how the stormwater runoff shall be directed and maintained on the property to ensure compliance with Land Development Code 6.13B3. So those are standard things, like if you were applying, we would ask for those information. And any testimony regarding any potential alternatives if the variance is not approved. Given the proposed elevation of the existing dwelling, is there the potential underneath to have some storage of goods and materials and eliminate that storage structure? So with that, you have motions options to approve case number 25084 as proposed, or with the staff recommended condition to, one, obtain the building permit that wasn't obtained prior, with the information on the stormwater that we would just require as part of any building permit application. You could do it as proposed, deny, or continue.
How was the 99 allowed to be built before?
It did not obtain a building permit. One was not obtained for the structure.
Was one needed?
Of course. Mm-hmm.
Well,
and it would have been denied or come to you based on the square footage.
Do we know the history of the timeline of when that was construction and the ownership of the property?
The applicant could probably attest to that, or the owner. As far as, it is my understanding, they were unaware that one was necessary.
Sure. Any additional questions for Kristen? Would the applicant like to come forward?
My name is Alan Schmidt. I'm the owner of the property. And you asked the question about the 99 square feet. So I must have done a reckless Google.
Can't hear you very well.
I must have done a reckless Google search, and I came up with 100 square feet was, over 100 would be a permit required. Under that would be no permit, so that's why I built it at that level. I must have gotten St. Petersburg or Pinellas County or something. I didn't realize there was an 80 square foot limit for city of St. Pete Beach. So
Well, it's not even that. They have to be tied down, and there's all kinds of process to make sure that it doesn't fly into your neighbor's yard and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, this is.
I'm getting another shed put in. I'm going through it, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is on piers, so, and it's tied down well, so. What you see here is probably not very well is the structure that this one replaced. It was probably, this is when we bought the house 5 years ago, it was probably a 60 square foot structure, metal structure, and rotting away. It was metal, and the salt water just does bad damage to it. So to replace this, I wanted to design something that went well with the house and was big enough to provide like insulated storage for the bicycles and things, because they were really rusting away. So I wanted to build something more substantial. So that's what I took this project on. That was one of the pictures in the process of building it. You can see over in the right, the old structure that's kind of failing. But this was a hip roof, which is designed to match the house, and with exposed rafters under the eaves. The house was built in the mid-1940s, I would say. So I wanted to match something of that style. It was quite a process. My sons and I, it was a family project, and quite the calculations had to go in for this hip roof with kind of a odd size. That's the picture of the back room that I was trying to emulate the design on. So you can see the exposed rafters under the eaves with the lots of glass in the front, and there was another glass on the side. So that's kind of what I wanted to match it architecturally wise.
How high are you lifting the house?
The house will be lifted about 13 feet, which when we built this structure, we didn't. That was prior to Helene and prior to the substantial damage that we received.
But the structure, you obviously built it well. It did fine in the storm?
Oh, yeah, it was fine. It would fare better than the house.
When you built the structure, obviously you were unaware of the permitting requirements. Have there been any concerns by your neighbors in terms of visibility or encroachment on their backyards?
No,
since it's been in existence?
No, actually, we got compliments from the neighbor that's on the viewing side of the backyard. She has a higher floor, but she's like, "Oh, that looks great." So
I'm trying to understand if you're going to lift the house 13 feet. Isn't there plenty of room for storage under the house then?
There would be, but I'd hate to tear this down. We could move storage over into the new section building, but we built this structure before we knew, before Helene and before we knew we'd be declared substantial damage and have to lift it.
So this is all about saving the shed that's there?
It's only 3 years old. Yeah, it's kind of a family project.
I guess when I'm looking ahead, the awful expenses you have ahead of you to lift everything.
I know, really.
It's like, seems like it's a very small part of it.
It is, but this was kind of it was a family project with me and my boys, and we love this area. We want to make it a generational house, so when they come back, they can tell their kids, "Hey, me and Dad built this shed."
Any additional questions for the applicant?
No.
Thank you. If there's anybody else here today that would like to speak on behalf or in opposition of this application, now would be the time.
Madam Chair, I just was also like to note, we did receive one letter, and that was in support.
The one that is on? Yes.
Correct. The one that is in front of you, and that was received after the agenda packet was published.
Okay. All right, hearing none, we'll close for public discussion and open for
Good.
board.
Well, if it's never been inspected, shouldn't a condition be that the city come in to make sure it's properly tied down and meets all the safety requirements that,
Yeah, that that was her first recommendation, or her recommended condition
Yeah.
that we could approve with the requirement that they would need to go through the permitting process to make sure from a
make
safety
sure it's
perspective.
tied down properly and all
That
that?
the only, I mean, the fact that I made it through the storm, I think it's probably
Probably.
going to, but I agree with you that should be documented. I think, there are honest mistakes made. There was a shed there before. Granted, this one is slightly bigger than the one that was there before, but I can see, being a new homeowner, assuming that I'm able to do this since there was one, existing and nobody said anything. So I'm inclined to, they're obviously investing in the neighborhood and their property. I'm inclined to allow them to keep their shed
Yeah,
With that condition?
with the permitting condition, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
Since, I mean, it's storage, then they're gonna have plenty of storage underneath, but it's also something that's been part of the family, so. Stuff.
Do you have a motion?
Yeah, we approve case number 25084 with the staff conditions that they get a backdate or get a permit and proper inspections. So they'll get the deviation for the larger size.
I'll second that.
Member Causey?
Yes.
Member Core?
Yes.
Member Small?
Yes.
Chair Chase?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Enjoy your shed. Okay, that concludes action items for today's meeting. Was there any other items for discussion?
No other items for discussion today. I just kind of wanted to give you a preview maybe for next month, which our meeting is being held on August 27th. Right now, we have about 6 that probably will be on our agenda. 4 of them practical difficulties and 2 unnecessary undue hardship.
Does that include the continuance that was originally scheduled for today, or?
For 100 Passigrove Way, that has actually changed a bit, so we're going to treat it probably as a new application and a new submittal based on that, and we're just,
That's not going to be in August, though, is it?
that will be.
It will be? Oh, interesting.
So that's part of one of the 6.
Yep. that
That's on
would
the
be-
27th, correct?
That is correct. Wednesday, the 27th at 2 p.m.
All right.
Pack a snack.
I was going to say, we'll make sure to have a good lunch that day.
Yes, have a hearty lunch, for sure. That is all I have.
All right,
Good deal.
meeting adjourned.